מזמור שיר ליום השבת.
Who was Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach? Often referred to as the foremost songwriter in contemporary Judaism, Shlomo was also a scholar who studied at three well-known American Haredi yeshivot, Torah V'das, Lakewood, and Chaim Berlin, and he received ordination smicha from Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner. Shlomo was born in Berlin, January 1925, and he grew up in Baden, near Vienna. He studied at the Telze Yeshiva in Lithuania and fled Europe with his family to New York, where they settled in Williamsburg and then in Manhattan. In the late 1950s, Shlomo studied psychology and philosophy at Columbia University. Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach is considered to be the most influential composer of Jewish religious music of the 20th century and a progenitor of the modern neo-Hasidic Renaissance. He performed at approximately 7,000 concerts and produced 27 albums. He also created a genre of storytelling intertwined with song and innovated experiential modes of applying Hasidic values to modern life challenges. Shlomo began his career as an outreach emissary in December 1949 for the Rayatz, the 6th Chabad Rebbe, and continued working for the 7th Rebbe until 1955. Later, he was to exclaim, "I was Mamash, the Rebbe's right-hand man," his first emissary to college campuses. Reb Shlomo set up the first Hasidic outreach program in America. Here, he is visiting the Rebbe with his students in 1952. Reb Shlomo selected short verses from the Bible and the prayer book. His originality, therefore, is not in the lyrics, but rather in the way he enlivens the original sources and uses music to reinterpret their meaning and apply their messages. After Reb Shlomo produced his first album, he began performing around the globe. Here we see him at the Jewish Student House in Paris in 1961. The watershed event in Reb Shlomo's career was on the July 4th weekend of 1966 at the Berkeley Folk Music Festival. His Greenwich Village friends, Bob Dylan and Pete Seeger, encouraged him to perform. Reb Shlomo was the only performer to publicly and proudly identify as Jewish. Here, he was facing youth who had rebelled not only against the establishment, but also against Judaism. With a sardonic wit, Shlomo described his experience. "I walk around with a yarmulke and tzitzit, and I could recognize the Jewish youth, those who kept away from me. But the moment that the Jewish kids saw that the non-Jewish kids were dancing with me, suddenly I was kosher lePesach." In 1973, Reb Shlomo was filmed in the Herzliya television studio. In 1976, Reb Shlomo and his followers established their own community settlement called Moshav Me'or Modi'im. Here, Reb Shlomo is interviewed right near his house on the Moshav. What do you think of the world, brother?
Depends what time of the day you ask me. People always ask me, are you pessimistic or optimistic? I said, it depends who I'm talking to. Most of the world, they have no choice.
Then, on the other hand,
some people see them full of optimism.
Reb Shlomo's life story and music were dramatized in the Broadway musical Soul Doctor in the summer of 2013.